Okay, so welcome to anybody who's in the chat. We are now live with the 16th episode of Temple of Elemental Evil. Last episode, which was a little while back, went absolutely crazy. Martin, I think was it last session that the creature talked to you?
It
The one
was.
it was, yeah. So I think we started off with that, and then things just got much worse from there. As you went over, you killed some people who were heading for Nulb, who you believed were probably going there to recruit or perhaps kidnap some people for their cause, or sacrifice. And then you went into the dungeon itself. You got completely sandwiched by like 16 skeletons, and barely escaped. It came very close to death there. And then you went and dealt with some guards who you were able to sort of tell them to just like go away, and you were able to use your nice little diplomatic foci to sort of get out of that one. But then you went down to the second level, and in the immediate room on the right, there was a Hydra waiting for you, which could not hit to save its life, very luckily. And that was just right before you then got charged by two trolls who seemed to be bringing some sort of tribute to some sort of chieftain of theirs. And then you decided to just book it and get out of there very, very intelligently, as you guys were getting absolutely just battered left and right. So I think that's pretty much where we left off. You guys head back to Hommlet. We are going to just sort of go to like the next day. You guys get yourselves healed up. Thankfully, there wasn't too much healing done, so I think most of your hirelings have their system strain back up to topped up, but Elmo still needs another day to get his system
Yeah.
strain topped up. Naomi's almost done her studies with Jeru. She'll probably be done in 2 days or so, and then she'll probably be good to go. And yeah, so we'll just get started here. It's the next morning. You are definitely feeling sore after the battering from yesterday. You also know that the creature told you, or the creature earlier showed you, that in the next coming days, it seems like the temple is
Mm.
sending out people to round up, perhaps more recruits, also grab some prisoners for sacrifice, and all sorts of horrible, heinous stuff. So yeah.
So I think Griff is going to head on over to Turgeon. He wants to get his wounds seen to,
Mm-hmm.
and he's also got a favour to ask.
Sounds good. Yep. So you head over to the northwest towards Turgeon's church. He seems to be just doing a ceremony today. You sort of wait patiently for the ceremony to wrap up, and may the peasants and farmers in the area who are here finally filter out after probably about maybe 30 minutes. You seem to be coming to like I'd say the tail end. After yesterday, you kind of slept in just a little bit, just getting some strength back. You felt like you got hit by a truck. And yeah, Turgeon notices you, and he comes over towards you and greets you. Gives you some healing that you've been doing. One thing for everybody in the chat, we haven't really been going over too much because a lot of this pesking stuff isn't necessarily the most interesting stuff, but I've basically been doing that whenever they're really hurt and they don't get enough healing back from a night's rest. They've just been going to Turgeon, just getting healed up minorly. This time, however, Griff is down by like 18 hit points. So this time, Turgeon's asked for a little bit of compensation for the church to use his healing abilities on you. But yeah, Turgeon says, well, you certainly look worse today than you normally do, but it's good to see you in one piece, mostly.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't believe me if I told you, to be honest with you, but yeah. Any if you can heal me up there, I'll be most grateful. Put in a good word and all that.
Yep, and he does some sort of usual incantations that he normally does, and grabs out some different powders and holy water and other things, and starts healing up your wounds. You still have the wounds there, but they seem to be mostly
Mm.
scarred over. They look like they're in much better, cleaner shape now, and you feel back to your usual self. You still have a little bit of soreness throughout your body, but you're overall okay.
Oh well, that's a lot better. Thank you for that. We should bring you along with us.
He says, "Oh, that's a good one. I'm a little bit too old these days to go into any dungeons, I find, and Well, plus you wouldn't want me around with you. I'd just slow you down.
Well, I don't know. I mean, could I interest you in a small job? Just oh, I don't know if you've ever been in the temple, but if you haven't, it's just down a flight of stairs, and there's a bunch of 16 skeletons, and I reckon a man of your skills would be able to dispatch them real quickly. You can turn them or make them turn to dust or run away, can't you?
Hmm. He kind of just thinks about it for a moment and goes, and looks around the church, and you sort of notice that there's like lots of parts of the church. Some of the pews are kind of battered and broken, and a few other things where you see like a part of the roof is leaking. He says, "Well, we could use some more repairs." Um, I'll be
Yeah.
honest, I'm not much of a fighter, but I do have some gifts when it comes to dealing with undead and other despicable creatures. Um, I'm not going to fight, but I would say if you want to give a nice donation to the church of, let's say, 500 silver, I'll come down there with you for a trip.
Well, I suppose you can't take it with you, can you? Well, I don't know, but you could provide some advice on that, I guess.
He lets out a hearty laugh at that.
But yeah, that seems like a good deal. As I say, it's just sort of down some stairs, almost the first room you come across, and yeah, full of skeletons. If you could do us a favour with that, I'm more than happy to make a donation, and I'm sure it would see the roof right and some fresh pews. I don't know. Maybe you can even pay some monks to scrawl out some more prayer books for you.
Yeah, and he seems content with that. He says, "Yes, I mean, there's lots of things that need to get done around here." Um, when do you plan to go out next? If you can give me just like some advanced warning, I just need to tell some of my underlings to take over some of the services. But
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, couple of days sort of thing. Does that work for you?
absolutely, I will.
Yeah,
I'll make the proper arrangements, and then
perfect.
I'll come help you with this skeleton issue of yours.
Yeah, no, that's much appreciated.
Yeah, and he happily takes your donation and gives
Nice.
you a firm handshake and sort of asks if you need anything else from him.
I don't suppose you got any healing potions. We kind of got through them a bit, as you can guess. It was a bit of a rough ride last time.
He says, "Yeah, I'll throw this in as part of the donation you just gave." And he goes over to the back. He sort of disappears for a little bit and comes back with three, and hands them
Oh,
over to you.
well, thank you for those.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I gotta make sure that you're properly prepared if I'm coming down with you next time you go down. So
Well, you may even get a taste them yourself, but hopefully it won't come to that. I'm sure it'll all be fine.
I hope so. I hope I don't look like you when we come back.
No, it's just me that seems to take the beating, but never mind. Well, thanks anyway. That's yeah, a bit of a weight off the shoulders. We can get them dispatched. I'm sure good things will come from it.
Yeah, and he sort of sends you on your way. He seems amicable and
Yeah.
goes back to doing whatever he was doing.
So I think the next trip has got to be to. Hmm. Oh, so here's a question.
Yeah.
When Naomi graduates, can she still read scrolls?
Yes.
She can. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good to know.
I'm bending some stuff because we're doing a bit of
Yeah.
an OSC AD&D Worlds Without Number like mix here. But no, she can totally read the scrolls that she still has on her.
Yeah. Sorry, let me just go and put something on silent. There are so many devices to
It's all
shut off
good.
before this.
Discord
This.
cuts it all out. I didn't hear anything on your end.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Sorry for that. Um. So I think the next place we want to go to is probably to go and see Byrne because we left him with a rather nice spell book with lots of fun things
Oh
in it.
yes.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. So you head all the way back down, and you're making your way through the village, and it's a pretty busy day today. It looks like a new caravan's coming to town. There's lots of wares down at the market that are being held out.
Ooh.
You're seeing new merchants. Lots of farmers are going to there and off to their fields. As you're sort of making your way, like the time's starting to pass, it seems like everybody's up in town. And you're also noticing a lot more guards around town. Usually, most of them, you see them kind of posted on the outskirts, up near the church in that sort of main road coming from the northwest, as well as near the tower. But you're noticing sort of in patrols of 2 to 3, kind of them just walking through the town. There's like a guard. There's 2 guards at the tavern. It seems like there's lots of people who are on high alert ever since you gave them the warning. And you make your way through town to the tower. You make your way through. I don't know if you want to talk to Rufus at all, but you're allowed to just straight up go to Burn now. There's not much.
Yeah.
Not much stuff that's really formal anymore. And you make your way back up to Burn, who greets you still a little bit coldly. He's like, "Oh, it's you again. Well, I have some good news. I've finished going through and transcribing the book for you," and he hands it over to you. He says it would probably be beyond your capabilities, but if you come across any other wizards who, in your travels, they might make use of it. He says he sort of points through it and kind of flips through different parts. You can tell he kind of seems to skip through any like the really heavy stuff. Almost insultingly. He's not insulting you. You feel like in a way this is about as kind as Burn gets, which is mostly just holding back from mentioning how stupid you are in his eyes. But he points through that it seems like a lot of the magic in this book seems to be a little bit of a higher level. There's not a lot of lower level magic in here. It seems to be there's lots of stuff on basically summoning and elemental magic. A lot of it is based around earth magic. It seems like there's stuff like creating basically giant rocks around you to use as projectiles. Also getting creatures from other planes to appear, stuff like that. And he also says that there are also some extra things about the Earth Temple, but it seems to be pretty old stuff. He points out that a lot of this seems to be this book has obviously been handed down between different priests of the temple. So there's nothing really in terms of like new knowledge on there. But he does mention just that it seems like that there's, how should I put this? It seems like there's a bit of a tradition of handing things down through like the generations here that you've kind of severed by taking this book.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that. You said when we last met that you could give us some scrolls in exchange for this. You could copy out some of the spells that you thought were within our grasp, and you could have the book in return. Is that still the agreement?
Yeah, he says yes. Though he does explain that he's been able to get about 3 scrolls together here for you. He does say that they are pretty high magic scrolls, and that you might want to make sure that whoever casts them does have some level of proficiency in magic, because things could go horribly wrong. But he hands them over to you. I'm gonna be honest with you, Martin. I don't have the exact names for these for you. But just write down 3 scrolls. And they're basically, essentially, there's one that's like summoning an earth elemental. There's one that does make sort of like a meteor shower. And there's one that basically allows you to sort of form rock around you.
Cool. A meteor shower, eh? What bloody hell? Where do they come from? If you're in a dungeon and you were to cast that, do they kind of appear from nowhere, or do the walls turn into meteors? How does that one work exactly?
Burn gives you a look, and he says you don't want to cast that one in a dungeon. He takes the scroll back really quickly and then scribbles on top of it, "Do not cast" inside, and then hands it back to you.
Well, I mean, thank you for the what word should I? Guidance, the advisory there. But just out of interest, I mean, you know, on a theoretical level, because I'm a bit of a thinker myself. You'd never have guessed it. But what would happen?
He says from what he can tell, they appear pretty high in the atmosphere. So if they come crashing down, they might either run into enough physical barriers that they won't get to you, or they could cave everything around you down on top of you. So he says it's definitely something to be used outside if you can, to have the most control over it.
Yeah, sounds interesting, that one. Thank you.
Yeah, I like how excited Griff is about that one in specific. Like,
Yes. Hmm. If it all goes horribly wrong, is this some sort of
Yeah, this is
self-destruct?
yeah.
All comes in.
I'm dying anyway.
The rest of you are coming with me. Cool. Well, thank you, Ben. And was there anything in there you didn't understand, or did you get it all?
He says he's fairly sure he got all of it, but with him keeping it, he might be able to tell you more as time goes on. He
Yeah.
says he'll send out word if he finds anything else. He did say, like he said, that there is some pretty old archaic stuff here. They could probably use a little bit more cracking, a bit more nuance. So he might still have some stuff to mine out of this yet, but he thinks he's gone at least like 80% of like the really good stuff.
Yeah.
Everything else seems either beyond comprehension from damage over time, as well as the damage sustained in the way you got it, or it's not really all that worthwhile in his eyes.
Yeah. Well, one other quick question. You haven't seen a little gnome wandering around, have you? Goes by the name of Wanalon?
He mentions, no, I haven't really left the town all that much since you handed me that book, so I have not
Yeah.
seen him around.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we rescued him and he was gonna join us or something, but he disappeared. No idea why, but yeah, that's gnomes for you.
Well, you know there are some gnomes in the region. Perhaps he's gone off to see some family or something.
Yeah, whereabouts are they?
He says they don't let their location be known, but I believe they are somewhere in the north. Perhaps straight north, perhaps a little bit northwest.
Right. Okay. No, well, thanks. Yeah, we're on the lookout for a bit of assistance, as you can probably guess from the state of me. Yeah, we had some run-ins.
Yes, I heard.
Yes. Anyway, thanks for the book, and we'll be in touch soon.
Of course. Best of luck with those spells. And,
I'll let you know how the meteor one goes.
Yeah, he seems a little bit excited to see what happens with any of those. And he just bids you farewell and closes the door on you.
Excellent. So I think we should probably go and see Giroux to see how Naomi's getting on.
Yep, sounds good. So you head south to, or I guess I should say you head west and then a little bit south to the Grove. It seems like there's a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of people are practicing their magics and trying out different things. It seems like Turgeon currently is doing another sort of lecture as well as a demonstration on summoning some sort of like vine things coming out of the ground. It's very interesting to watch. And you're noticing Naomi is over on the left, and she seems to be working by herself with some stuff. And you do see her, what looks like a bunch of sliced meat, just like on a table. And you see her going up towards it, and there's just like a blue light coming from her fingertips. As she like touches this meat, it looks like maybe like a giant like pork shoulder or something like that. You see like these slices along the pork shoulder seal themselves back up and close up again, and you just see her go like, yes! And she sort of just does the same to some other stuff.
So Griff is going to look for Giroux. He's not going to bother Naomi. She looks busy.
Oh yeah, sorry, did I say Turgeon? I meant Giroux's the one who's doing the.
Oh right, yeah.
Sorry, my bad. That was yeah.
Thought he was collaborating.
Turgeon and Giroux have too many of the same. Like they both have J and they have A and O, and they're also both like older sort of druidy cleric types.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, sorry, Giroux is here doing the demonstration. He's just doing the interesting thing with the vines and everything else, showing the acolytes, and see the acolytes are doing the same thing, sort of popping flowers out of the ground instead, or also getting some vines out. Some of them seem to be doing really well, and some like maybe overcharge it a little bit, and you just see a lot of little craziness happen. But same sort of thing. He sees you and he says, keep practicing, and he walks over towards you, and he says, Griff, it's great to see you.
And you, Giroux, Hey, it looks like you're going to have a good harvest this year if these guys are still around, eh?
Yes, I think they're doing quite a good job. They're doing marvelous, and so is Naomi. Naomi has completely exceeded my expectations. I think she's
Ah,
almost completely done in terms of stuff I can teach her.
is she ready? Or just another couple of days?
I would say maybe one more day, just to make sure. I have one final test for her, and then I think she'll be ready to go.
Ah, fair enough. Well, it sounds like you've done a fantastic job. So,
Yeah, so it's all
yeah,
her really. She's been a fantastic student.
that's good. Well, I've got some errands to run. We were going to head up north and see if we could make contact with some orcs who offered to give us a hand, and maybe you haven't come across a little gnome about that high called Wanalon, have you?
Oh yeah, I have actually. He came by earlier for some herbs. He came back into
Ah,
town, I think, this morning. I think I saw
right.
him around somewhere around here. It might be at the market with all the new caravans in.
Well, that will save me a trip. So, well, yeah, much obliged. Not to be rude, I'll pop back and see you tomorrow for a longer chat, if that's all right. I just want to see if I can catch this guy before he disappears off to wherever he disappears off to.
Yep, not a problem. And like he says that and bids you farewell, just as like a vine kind of almost hits him in the head from one of the students, kind of going a little bit rogue. And you just see him run back to sort of chastise them and teach them other stuff. And then you depart the grove and you head towards the market. Um,
Yes.
And yeah, it's pretty bustling now. There's been like a little while between you talking with Jeru and traveling around. It seems like all the stalls are out. You see lots of different, food. You see lots of clothes and weapons and armor, bits and bobs. All sorts of people from all across the land have just sort of stopped here. It seems on this very nice day. And you do see over near like one of the weapon merchants. You see a little gnome who seems to be in some new armor. Kind of looking at a bunch of short swords and daggers.
Cool. So Griff will, not with any kind of malicious intent, but he'll sneak over to Wanalon sort of undetected.
Yep, sounds good. Give me a sneak roll.
Uh,
Yeah,
and Griff can re-roll, can't he?
seven's fine. You're in a busy
Okay.
you're in a busy market, and
Yeah,
he's not ace. He's not like looking around. You silently and completely like with your elven cloak just show up right behind him, on his side.
So he'll put both of his hands on his shoulders and morning, Wanalon.
One of them just sort of like jumps up. He's like, don't do that. That scared me. It's good to see you, Griff. I dealt with that business after. Um, I'm good to go whenever you want to head out as well.
Yeah, I thought you would you'd gone. We ended up going back there, and we were hoping to have you along. But yeah, well, good to see you back anyway.
Yes, I just had to deal with someone, but they are now dealt with, and I have no loose ends left to tie up, and I am willing to make more money with you, Griff.
Excellent. I hope it was no one I knew. The person that you've finished up of with, well, whatever it
Well,
is.
unless you know anybody up in Nulb, you probably don't know them.
No, 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 rough folk up there.
Yes, well, I wouldn't worry about it too much. And you see him sort of has picked up a short sword, and he's sort of talking and walking with you in the market. He's picked up a short sword and he's thrown down some coin for it and grabbed a sheath for it. And then you see him going to like a part with like a bunch of bits and bobs. It looks like maybe it's some sort of like a blacksmith's
Okay.
pieces of metal and other stuff like that. You see him just grabbing scraps of like nails and little pieces of metal, broken glass and leather and other things, as well as like what looks like some small pieces of rope. And he starts grabbing all sorts of stuff, puts the money down, and throws the stuff into a bag. And he gives you a wink and says, "This will come in handy when we're in the dungeon."
Yeah, what on earth are you going to do with that lot?
Oh, you'll see. I'm a little bit of a. Well, I'll say this: I like to cover my tracks a little bit, depending on which way we go, so people don't come up behind us.
Ah, well, yeah, that would have been useful. Um, well, I think we're planning on leaving in a couple of days. We're going to bring the cleric from town, Turgeon, with us, and he's going to sort out a little undead problem we got.
Oh, good. By the way, I never asked you. How'd you? He points to like the gnome ring, that you're given. He said, how'd you get that?
That's a good question, and there's a long story behind that. But I'll give you the short version. We were in the. Have you come across the moat house between
Yeah. I went
here and
in
the
there one
temple?
time, but there was a big lizard, and I
Yeah,
decided to
yeah.
go to greener pastures.
Oh, and that reminds me, if you go to the beckoning bench there, you want to be careful not to eat Osler's stew because that lizard, we bought it back for him.
He lets a little laugh. He says, "Don't worry, I'm a vegetarian anyway."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, good plan, good plan. Well, I'm not kidding, by the way. Uh, so when we were in the basement, there was a bloody great ogre, horrible great green thing. This thing was, bit of a double crossing, two-faced thing. We ran into him. We let him off with a bit of a warning, a bloody nose. And yeah, later on, it was like he'd never met us, and terrible things, ogres. Anyway, he was keeping a gnome in captivity in his storeroom. And when I say captivity and storeroom, I think he was more sort of stored in a larder, ready to be eaten.
ooh, oh,
But
okay. Well, I guess you have a knack for
anyway,
saving gnomes then. I can
yeah,
see why you're giving that ring. Well,
is that a knack with a G?
he gives you a little sort of almost like a polite laugh at that one, and he's like, yeah, okay, more
Yeah.
gnome jokes, and you sort of see him shove more garbage into his bag as he throws more silver onto the counter for the merchant.
Oh, I bet you've never heard that one before. It's got to be a new one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a new one. I've heard ones like it, but it's a new one. I'll give you that
Uh,
much. At least you're not calling me a gnome. I'll take it. I'll take that any day.
well, yep. There's still time. Don't worry about it. It could happen. Well, anyway, yeah. So he gave me this iron ring, said that any other gnomes would know what it meant. So that's the story.
Yeah. Well, this is
But
great. Well, I'm glad. Good to see that I'm running with somebody I can trust to possibly save my hide. When did you say we're departing?
couple of days' time, we've got to wait for the Turgeon to finish his bits up, his affairs, and
Mm.
then he'll be free. Then we'll go and deal with a load of skeletons. He'll disappear off, but hopefully we'll have an easier ride because of it.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. I'll be around. I
Hmm.
usually don't stay in the same place every night, but I'll meet
Good,
you
good plan.
outside the beckoning bench.
Oh, and just before you go, have you heard of something called a Hydra thing with 5 heads?
Oh yeah, I mean that's a horrifying monster. Everybody's heard of
Yeah.
hydras, haven't they? Or maybe he
Well,
kind of looks around at the peasants. He's like, well, maybe these folk haven't, but I've uh I've heard of them. Why do
yeah.
you
Have
ask?
you? Oh no, I mean there was just rumours and that sort of thing. No, nothing really.
Hmm. Okay. He kind of just sort of squints at you a little bit, and just gives you a quick nod, and he says, "All right, well, I guess I'll see you around."
Yeah, skeletons and guards. If you've got anything that will work with skeletons and guards, then bring it with you.
Okay. Yeah, he
Yeah.
gives you a nod. You seem to just go back to looking at different things to buy.
Cool. So that's good. We've got another one.
Okay.
And if we've got a spare day, I think we're probably going to go to Orc Village and see if we
Yeah.
can.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Are you going to stick around here for a day, or are you gonna wait till tomorrow to do that, or are you going to try and head there today and try and head back in the same day, or what's the?
Yeah, I think a bit of a day trip if we can.
Okay, sounds good. Um, you taking anybody with you?
Yeah, we're not expecting trouble, but then hey, I guess we could take Alan and Elmo and leave Barry to rest.
Oh yeah, it's Elmo who needs the rest, but at the same time
Yeah.
he has 11 out of 12 system strain, so I think he'll be okay.
Yeah. You'll be
Um,
okay.
all right. So we'll just do a quick little roll here. Okay. So I'll just go to the region map for us. And you head north. First you get Alan and Elmo together. And you get on your horses. And at first you head west out of the village and north, going up that road, because you know they're somewhere like in the mountains. You have a general idea of where they are. And that's going to be probably about half the day to get up there. So you get there probably in
Okay.
the early afternoon, around 2 or 3 p.m. And you cut off the road and start heading east. You hit some hills and trees, and then eventually you start to hit the base of the mountain, or sorry, of the mountains. And you see tucked away where it gets like really rocky on the ground. You see what looks like an outpost. It looks like a big sort of camp with big logs sort of going around it. You see smoke coming out of it from what you assume probably like some fires
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. And you do see a bunch of orc guards, either both sort of around the main gate as well as on like the walls and such. And when they notice you, they put their spears out towards you. And yeah, what do you want to do, Martin?
So Griff will be very loud and kind of not be appearing to hide or be sneaky or anything like that, and he'll just put his arm up and wave a bit, right? And I think he speaks all of the kind of
Yeah,
languages, doesn't he? Because of
that's
his
one of your things
yeah,
as
one of
a
his things.
is that an expert thing or is that your
I
like well met thing?
think it comes with well met. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I think you're right. Or
Uh,
maybe it's diplomatic grace. Either way, yeah, diplomatic
yeah.
grace. Yeah, you speak all
Ah,
languages. So you speak very good Orcish. Both Alan and Elmo look pretty impressed as you sort of speak it very naturally. You have a much more guttural kind of tone to your voice. It probably hurts just a little bit to pronounce some of the words. But yeah, what do you say to these guards just out front here?
good afternoon, my good sir. We're just looking for Devik and Grun.
Yeah, and they look at each other, and one sort of tells the other to go inside, and soon after, the guard comes back and he sort of motions for you guys to come forward. Though they do stop you and sort of tell you to get off your horses. And they also one of the guards says you must give over all weapons to us for your duration here.
Oh, okay. There we go. And
Yeah,
Griff will hand.
Alan seems fine doing this. Elmo seems a little bit more wary. Doesn't
Yeah.
seem too comfortable doing this, but he still looks towards you first, and then takes off his axe and his bow and stuff, and hands it over towards them. And they just lead your horses over towards like probably like a trough or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you are led inside. And this village seems to be prospering decently. You are seeing lots of food. You are seeing lots of people. They seem to be decent. A lot of people hard at work, going around doing repairs, that sort of thing. There's probably about
Yeah.
a population of maybe 100 orcs here. It's not gigantic, but it's a decent sized tribe. Um, and what was the name of the orcs again? Because I forget. It's Dalek, isn't it? And
I wrote down Devik or and
Devik.
Grun, but
Devik and
that may
Grun.
just be my
No,
handwriting.
that's totally correct. I just couldn't remember what their names were.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were sort of led through. And you see, Devik comes up to you. He says, you came. It is nice to see you here. Come sit with us. We'll
Yeah.
talk." And
Well,
he just brings you over towards one of the fires. Slices off some meat for you and throws it onto a plate and hands it over. And he says, what can we do for you?"
well, you said you might be interested in helping out at the back at the temple
Mm-hmm.
when you fixed yourself up and got healed, and I figure it's been a few days now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
There's several people here looking for work.
Ah.
But I must warn you, we've had well, one of our elders has had some bad visions about the temple. And many of us don't actually want to enter it, but
Ah.
I'll enter it with you if you want. And I do know that in terms of guard work, if you need people to watch your horses or travel with you through the land, there's about
Yeah.
5 orcs who'd be happy to accompany you at least on the journeys, though they don't have
Yeah.
horses.
That would be useful. I'm not sure we'd need all five. Maybe I don't know what 3? Because I'm guessing they're going to want paying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he says if you want to make it as easy as possible, we can just do you can pay just a tribute for the month, for the
Yeah.
next 4 weeks. That's helpful. And he sort of says for 3, probably like maybe he says 300 silver should cover all 3 of them for the month, which by the math that compared to the humans is pretty cheap
Yeah.
because I think most of them would be 10 per day.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, you've twisted my arm then. Let's do that.
He
And,
says they'll
what
all
about
bring their own
yourself?
equipment and everything else. But like he says, they don't have any horses. Is the only issue. So that might slow you down somewhat. Or if you want to provide horses, they can ride horses, but obviously that's a very expensive commodity.
Yeah, we just sold some. I kind of wish I kept them now, but well, you never know what's gonna happen, do you?
Hmm.
Um, we might find some more. There's people riding up and down these roads and uh, horrible looking folk. So some of them have got horses. I'm sure we can help redistribute the equine wealth amongst the travellers, as it were.
Hmm. Yeah, and he also says, me and my brother in here will not enter Hommlet if that's okay with you.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I know people can get a bit funny, can't they? But
Yeah. He says if you did want to do this with them, they'll actually probably maybe go near the moat house, which isn't too far. It's about 15 minutes away, I believe, from Hommlet, which I think is currently under the jurisdiction of the was it
Sunny
Sunny
Fields.
Fields. So he says they won't go in there, obviously, but they're going to probably be around that area on that route. So probably just a little bit away from Hommlet, and they'll meet up with you whenever you head off.
Yeah, let's do that. It was a couple of days. We were going to not tomorrow, but the day after. We were gonna head over there.
Yeah, he says that works out. That gives us time to set up a temporary camp
Yeah.
there. There's some good hunting in that area, so we'll set up there.
Oh,
And he sort of tells you like, I mean, so far we've just sort of mentioned that you have like a map. He kind of points to the general area he'll be, so you'll be able to find them if you
yeah.
need to.
No, sounds good. Sounds good. And you going to bring Grum with you, or just yourself?
He says that him and he says the other guy's probably done with doing too much of this stuff, but he says the three others will be happy to help.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And you were happy to come with us and come in the temple, is that right?
Yeah, he says he'll
Yeah,
join.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Well, it'll be good to see you there, and no doubt you'll you can get your revenge.
Yeah,
Being
and you
tied up
do
down
see
there and that.
sort of like a bit of like an excitement in his eyes. He seems to be very happy for that.
Yeah, well, we got some others as well. We got a little gnome, and we got a cleric that's good with skeletons. So yeah, we're coming prepared this time. Coming prepared.
Hmm. Yeah, he seems pleased with that. He says, I'm not a big fan of magic, but I guess it's not too different than the stuff we do. So hopefully, your cleric doesn't try anything too funny with me. At least I know some of the church people over there are not necessarily the best. So I'll probably keep my distance from him.
I think he'll be all right. We paid him well enough, so yeah.
Well, perfect. Thank you for coming by. I will be very happy for this money. This will help a lot. And you see him sort of slice off some more meat and that sort of thing, and he puts it into a bag and hands it to you. Says, "For your trip back."
Oh, thank you very much. What was it? A wild boar? Was it?
Yes, you got good eyes.
Ah,
And like
indeed.
you still notice that there's like a giant boar head just like near the fire, just like over on a table, and just like it's mostly just the giant body.
Well, you know what? It's the cooking. The flavour of the boar really comes through. That's how I can tell. It's good, really good boar.
Yeah, and he nods in agreement and says, "Yes, we have the best cooks here for boar." And he just sort of slices off a giant chunk for himself and just throws it right into his mouth.
Well, you have to bring some of that with you, and well, hopefully you can catch some more. It'd be good to have fresh boar supplies.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
There's lots of good boar in that area, and some good bear too.
boar and bear.
Hmm.
We'll have to do a tasting contest. See if you can tell the difference.
um, and he seems very happy with this arrangement. And he just sort of guides you and your group out of the tribe. In case I don't know if you have anything else you want to ask or anything like that. But
No, that's yeah.
they hand you back your weapons and your horses. They seem to have cleaned off the horses somewhat for you on your trip. And yeah, they send you on your way.
Cool. We will head back to Hommlet.
Yeah, and one thing I would say is that you probably felt like almost in a weird way that whole sort of camp felt almost warmer than Hommlet even is usually. But yeah. And yeah, you head back down that road. This road is obviously seems to be a lot more that north to south road straight to Hommlet. Seems a lot more not packed, but a lot more travelers. The road you usually take through like the what's it called?
Yeah.
the boathouse all the way to the temple seems to be a lot more sparse. You see people there every once in a while. You see merchants and that sort of thing, and some travelers here and there and other adventurers, but it's nowhere near as much as the one from Hommlet to like the rest of the region. It seems like that one at least has a lot more people willing to go on it alone. But yeah, so you head back down, and you make it back in Hommlet just before the sun starts to set down.
Excellent. So Griff will do his normal sleep in a random room.
Sounds
He
good.
has two.
Perfect. Yeah, you do that. You do that same sort of thing, and then you go to your proper room. And yeah, you crash for the night. Unless there's anything else you want to do, Martin.
Nope, he's just going to wonder if Terry's going to appear this evening or whether.
For their sleepover. Yeah. No, Terry does not appear in front of you.
No, that's good.
Probably thankfully
Cool.
he's very disgusting to behold.
Yeah.
he is not nice to look at. But yes, you make your way back. And the evening or then the night is very much pretty quiet. Nothing really happens. And the next morning you wake up and you smell sort of a faint hint of smoke. And you make your way downstairs, and it seems like the tavern's fine. And you do see some people going back and forth here just a little bit. And you notice, like, as you leave the tavern to get your stuff together, you see what looks like a bunch of guards, probably about 10 or 15, all on horses, have departed through the middle of the town towards the west. You know the road that you were just on. You see what looks like a column of smoke about maybe 15 minutes away. And you hear somebody say, one of the caravans, they've been hit. Running into town. And you see the guards run off towards the west.
Is there anyone else around? Specifically Elmo, Alan, or are they not?
Yeah, I
Immediately
would say Alan has come here really quickly. He's fully armed. Elmo has shown up. It's probably only a matter of time before the others are probably in the area as well. This is probably still pretty early, like maybe like 8 a.m. or so.
Ooh, okay.
But yeah, but I would say you see Alan sort of runs up towards the tavern. There's a lot of commotion going on in town. You are seeing more and more guards are coming out of their different respective areas, and a lot of them have started to move towards the west, towards that smoke.
You know what, Elmo, Alan? I've got a nasty feeling that's some sort of trap.
Mm-hmm. Alan says, yeah, I don't know, boss. You said that they're going to hit the different parts, right? So, maybe they're just attacking the ones in the outskirts first, the easier targets.
Yeah, you say that. You know what though? When I was well, I don't know. I haven't really told you about my past and all the rest of it. We used to plant distractions. We used to, it was good for people to kind of have their gaze somewhere else, so that when we crept up on them, they didn't know we were coming. So, you know what? If I was going to attack Hommlet, what I'd probably do is light a couple of bloody great fires up north, make it look like there's some sort of caravan attack going on, and then I'd come from the east.
And
Everyone's cleared up.
Almost right at the time that you finish your sentence there, Martin, you see a young acolyte running from the south, from the grove. His clothes are torn and bloody, and he says, "Monsters! Monsters in the grove!" As he's running up the town, and you see Alan unsheath his sword, and he says, "Boss, what do we do?"
Yeah, come on, let's get to it. Naomi's there as well.
Yeah, and Alan starts full tilt booking it south. You notice to the west, it looks like the guards who are on horseback are already gone out of the town. They've already passed the church and have started heading out of town already. You do see that there are still some guards on their feet who are running south as well towards the grove. And you see over in the tower to the east, you see more guards are starting to filter out of that and start to head towards the middle of town, trying to find out what's going on. So Alan's already started booking it south towards the grove here over at 24. What do you want to do, Martin?
We will go south as well.
Okay. So good. Yeah. So you head south and you see Elmo's sort of bring up behind you. He is looks like he's sort of just still trying to get into his armor. His axe is just sort of swinging around. He says, "What's going on, boss?"
Some trouble down south. Come on, we better hurry up. Most of the guards have been distracted up north.
Sounds good. So you say that you notice that the what looks like the acolyte has just sort of collapsed over in the ground in this middle
Okay.
of the street. You see some peasants run over towards him to sort of check on him, and you just blow right past him and almost like, oh my god, this early in the morning, it's too early for an attack.
Antisocial, that's what it is. Not even had breakfast yet.
I
We- we-
know.
We'll we'll give him a C and two.
And you have already seen like Alan's like way ahead of you as you guys follow after them. And so you get down towards the grove, and you're seeing what looks like a bunch of the acolytes being dragged off by what looks like different men and creatures, probably little green creatures, humans, half elves, monstrous humanoids as well. And you see Jeru is there, sort of casting off spells, hitting people with different vines and branches, and sort of just doing a bunch of magic trying to hold them off. You probably see about maybe 15 of these humanoid creatures, just dragging people off and killing others. And you see Naomi there, and you see about four of these creatures run towards Naomi. And Naomi turns and snaps her fingers, and the four of them just drop to the ground. And she turns to see you guys. She says, "Oh, boss, am I happy to see you? We need your help."
Yep. Well, we're in. I come on.
Sounds good. So we'll go into initiative here, Martin.
Excellent. What do these green humanoid creatures look like, other than green and humanoid?
Some of them are short. Some of them look like they're probably about 3 to 4 feet tall. Some of them look more like the orcs. Some of the creatures, the other ones look more like purplish. Okay, so you go first.
Right. So, we're not too worried about the ones that have just fallen over. So Griff will grab his bow and shoot probably one that's furthest away that may be riding off or dragging something away. So,
Sounds good.
he wants to rescue as many people as possible here.
Yeah, and I'll set the scene a little bit better now because now that you have a little bit more of an
Yeah.
idea, it's not just chaos. So if you look at 24 there's also that cul-de-sac kind of thing. 24 is just in the middle there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you look at that little cul-de-sac, like basically where 24 is on, you're just like at the north part. Naomi's just right there next to you in the middle. Jeru is probably not too far away from you guys, casting off spells at people. And all the enemies are kind of like in the south part, just sort of dragging people off this way.
Okay.
So they're grabbing them and dragging them through the trees and that sort of thing. So are you firing off at somebody who is just dragging off like a screaming acolyte? Okay, perfect.
Exactly that. Yeah.
I'm gonna say that Elmo does not have his bow. He's just here with his axe. So
Elmo, you ride around the back of the trees. Make sure they don't get away with anybody.
all right, you got it, boss. And he sort of cuts through. Okay, you immediately just get one guy right in the throat, and he drops the acolyte and falls down dead. And you see Alan sort of goes near where Naomi is and gets in front of her. With his sword drawn, and you see Elmo cuts down through the trees, and Elmo is going to catch up to one guy who's holding an acolyte, and Elmo swings out with his big axe.
Ooh.
And even with the shock damage, he just cuts that guy's head right off. And okay, you see, actually, give me a nose check, Martin.
I don't believe Elmo's got 7 shock damage. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, the warriors get pretty nuts. Okay, so 8. Nice. So, Martin, you were sort of like surveying the area, trying to get an idea of how many people there are and everything that's happening. And you see a shadow sort of appear just over you. And you look up to see some horrifying flying creature swing down towards you, and you see it's. I'll show it to you there now. It's on the screen.
Ooh.
It has these like 2 giant barbed tails, massive black bat-like wings, and this entire body is just like a shiny, almost like a black stone, and that is coming down towards you, and you see 2 more that were probably invisible appear as well, and they start going down towards the acolytes that are in the trees. So it is back to you. They haven't gone just yet, but I should say their turn is them sort of swooping in. And for the guys dragging up the acolytes. They just keep dragging those guys backwards, and you also see 4 move forward with weapons. 2 of them are going to attack Alan, and then 2 are going to attack Elmo, and they'll be back to you guys. So I'm just going to do a quick attack here. These 2 are on Alan, and these 2 are on Elmo. And if it's a little confusing on how many guys there are, I'm going to say it's going to stay that way right now, as it seems like it's really hard to tell what's going on in the battleground. Okay, so that's a miss. I believe that's a miss. And I think that is... Oh, I also did one more. This is the last one on Elmo. Also miss. Okay, so they just... Elmo and Alan are able to hold back the guys who came and attacked them. And now it's back to you guys.
So Griff will say, hey, here, look, in the sky. Elmo, that's where breakfast is.
Elmo's like, what the hell are those things?
Don't know, but I bet they're tasty over a fire, he says.
I don't know about that, boss, but I hope they die like everything else, though.
They will. And Griff will point his bow up, and I think he's going to, if he's got his normal quiver on his back, probably use an arrow +1 as well.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Extra +1ness.
Sounds good to me. Ooh, nice hit. All right. 8 damage. Good hit. Yeah, your magic arrow there strikes true. Is actually 9 damage. Is that +2 already added, or should that be +3?
I think that should be +3.
Okay.
I haven't got a
9 damage. Nice. Yeah, this lets out like almost like a supersonic shriek as you hit it with this arrow. Like your eardrums feel like they almost burst from the noise. And you see both Alan and Elmo and Naomi all sort of cringe at the sound kind of just hitting everybody. Okay, nice hit. They're too high for Alan and Elmo to hit, but Alan and Elmo are able to swing at the guys in front of them. So Alan's going to go first, and then Elmo's going to go... Oh my god, okay, that's probably a dead guy. Yep, that's a dead guy. And that's another dead guy. So they both slice into one guy who's on them. So they both only have one guy left on. Okay, and I believe that's their turns. Naomi does have a hand axe she pulls out and tries to hit the other one that's next to Alan. Jesus, Naomi. She doesn't kill the guy, but she stabs him repeatedly with the hand axe, severely hurting him. You do see him scream out as she just keeps hitting him with this hatchet. All right, now it's back to their turn. That guy who just got hit with the hatchet is going to sort of break and use his turn just to run away back into the trees. And the guy who's on Elmo is going to do the same thing. You see, I would say there's probably some of the guys have dropped the acolytes. I'd say there's probably only 4 acolytes that have been dragged off, who are still off in the woods. The rest seem to be either dead, wounded, or have been set free and are running off north towards the town. You do hear the footsteps of guards coming up behind you to come reinforce you guys. And then the creatures are going to go. So one of these creatures is going to drop down on you, Martin. And they are going to go... it's just a custom one. But he's going to miss his first attack. Then he swings at you again. Does 17 hit?
No, that's a
no,
miss.
It's still good.
That's,
all right. You were still okay. Yeah, so it swings down and tries swinging at you, but you were able to sort of duck out of the way. And then the other ones, one goes for Elmo, one goes for Alan. And so I'll just do their attacks. These are the ones on Alan. Both of those are going to miss Alan.
Cool.
And then the next 2 are going to go for Elmo. One is going to hit, and this one digs its claws deeply into Elmo now and has him held, and is going to do... Okay, not that bad. 3 damage to Elmo. Elmo's doing all right now. Sitting pretty at 21 hit points. As this creature just slashes into him. And lets out another shriek. And then that's going to be their turns for now. So now it's back to you.
So Griff's going to issue some orders to the things that are running away and say, if you stop now and hit the ground, let the acolytes go. We won't come after you. If you think you can run away from us, you've got another thing coming. He says. If you think those chickens are going to help you, they ain't.
I love it. Yeah, you want to give me a convince check?
Come on. Ooh. Free reroll?
Yeah, I'll allow that.
Non-combat? Yeah.
I'll allow that. I'll say this. Oh, it doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, it's not enough. You still see the 4 acolytes get dragged off. You just hear now. You can't even see them. You can only hear their screams coming from the woods in the south. Yeah. And Elmo is going to attack the guy on him. Also, you can still do something, Martin. That'll just count as your free action there.
Oh no.
Elmo is just going to turn that into a hit. And Alan's also going to hit. Both of them hit really hard against these creatures. Actually, wait a minute. Is that even? Yeah. Yeah. So they both slam into them really hard. You hear more of the shrieking, almost supersonic sounds just hitting your eardrums. You see now that it looks like Alan and Naomi both have bleeding noses. Unfortunately, yeah, that won't. Actually, you shot your bow. This thing's in melee with you, so you probably have to use your.
Okay.
I'll let you do reroll there if you want.
Yep. Let's do that. Change my arrow counter down. Perfect.
Oh, that's a lot better.
Yeah.
You drop your bow and pull out your sword and give it a proper good slash across the body. It lets out another shriek, but seems to still be going. That one is extremely hurt. You're seeing almost like this black liquid fall off of it, but the black of it looks like so dark it almost is like consuming the light around it. You're in the middle of the day, the sun's shining down, but it just looks like the deepest, darkest black, as it just sort of pools on the ground above you. And yeah, okay. So that's your turn. They both hit. Naomi's also going to use her hand axe. Ooh, nice one for Naomi. Does a little bit more damage to the one that's on them. And then right above you, a crossbow bolt goes right through this creature's head, and it falls down dead in front of you, letting out one last shriek. And you see Bari behind you, reloading his crossbow. And he says, "Sorry, I'm late. What the hell's going on down here?"
We're just we got fed up with ostlers. We thought we'd take breakfast with Giroux instead.
Yeah, he laughs and just sort of knocks the next bolt, and just runs up behind you guys. And you do see more of the guards now have started to join up, and have started to just move next to Elmo and Alan. Okay, and now it's back to those creatures. The one above you is now dead, so there's only 2 left. It's the ones who are on Alan and Elmo. The one on Alan is actually going to turn towards Naomi and attack her.
Mean.
And right now, she does not have her armor just yet. So one is going to hit her, and she gets attacked, and it holds on to her, only doing 3 damage, thankfully, and then does another. Oh no, that's their attack. But yeah, now it's holding onto her and starts to like pick her up off the ground somewhat, as its wings are beating like harder and faster now. And you are seeing like it has like those long sort of nails just going straight into her, and she screams out. And then the other one's gonna go for Elmo, but neither are gonna hit. I believe Elmo has an 18 AC, correct? Let's see here. Yeah, Elmo's fine. So, yeah, that's the current situation. You are back to your turn now. It seems like Bari has rejoined you, and some guards are now here to help attack these creatures.
So Griff will scream to Bari, "Bari, get the one that's got Naomi. Look, it looks like he's going to fly off."
Yeah, and he aims his his crossbow, and fires off a bolt. Okay, another nice hit from him. This one's still alive, but the bolt goes into it. It's already bleeding profusely from the major attacks from both Alan and Naomi. But yeah, it's still going. What do you want to
So
do?
having killed the one that was on him, Griff's no longer in melee, is he?
Yeah,
He
so you can pick up
can
your bow
use
and
his
fire it
bow.
off
Yeah,
at the creature.
that's what he'll do. Come on. Oh, yes.
Ooh, nice hit.
And there's another +1 on the damage there.
Yes, and
That's
you
another.
you take it out. The arrow just goes right through like its temple, and it drops Naomi onto the ground, and it's just like on top of her. It just like all its weight just goes right on her, and she sort of just pushes it off. And you see her bleeding profusely, but she just starts to sort of glow blue on her hands, and she will heal herself up.
Don't get started with Adus. Remember, these chickens have got to go around. There's a few mouths to feed here.
Yeah, and she because I think she's down to 3 hit points there. And so she's just going to use Healer's Touch. Yeah, 2d6 plus your heal skill. She can't not bring herself back up to full from that. So I'm not even going to roll for her, but she does lose a system strain. But yeah, so she heals herself back up. And there's still the one left. So yeah, Alan and Elmo. Alan just bolts towards the one that's on Elmo. That has him grappled, and is going to attack. And Elmo's also going to attack.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ooh.
Okay, apparently Alan did not like that thing holding on to Elmo. None of them did. And together with their axes and swords, they just start absolutely ripping these creatures apart, hacking into them, and just rips it off of Elmo, and it's on the ground. You see all three of these creatures now. After a few seconds, everybody's like raggedly breathing. The guards have all sort of joined up. They just start to form into like just puddles of black on the ground, and then they just kind of dissipate into the earth.
Oh no, I didn't want soup, says Griff. I think we should quick. We should get after these guys. See if we can get these acolytes back. I counted about 4 of them were dragged off there.
Yeah, let's go. And you 4 or you 5 rather. And then I would say probably about maybe 6 guards are with you. You guys start to head south, through the woods, through the fields. Do you want to give me an exert check, Martin?
Yes.
And I'll do one for, let's see, I think Elmo probably has the best exert, maybe? Was it that one? But that was all the same.
13.
Okay, perfect. So you catch up. I'd say you, Elmo, and Alan catch up. Bari and Naomi are behind, as well as the guards a little bit. And you catch up to the 4 creatures dragging the acolytes across. It seems like they're throwing them onto some sort of probably I wouldn't say it's a horse, but it looks like somewhat like between a horse and a wolf. And they're just throwing them onto this thing and just tying them down. And then they notice you as you like sort of run up through the trees. And the 4 of them kind of turn towards you and pull out their swords and run towards the 3 of you. So we'll just go into combat here again, Martin. Okay, only 2 for them.
Give up now or die like your friends.
Yeah, I don't think you can go last here because you have a +1, so you're gonna go first anyway. Sorry, you have a +2. Yeah, so if I don't roll a 4 or better, there's no point in even rolling because you'll just go first. And they all charge towards you. So you guys go first. What do you want to
do? Griff's probably better with his bow, but I don't know. He feels the need for some catharsis from his axe.
The 3 of you against the 4 of them? Yeah. Yeah. So the 3 of you charge into them with swords and axes. And yeah, we'll just do the attacks here.
Ooh. Does that hit?
That does hit.
Cool.
And you kill one. Elmo kills one. And Alan is going to probably kill one, I'm going to say. Yeah. Yeah. So you guys just cut all through into them, just like just slicing them apart. And you just see almost like a flash of anger in Alan. And the last one just sort of puts his hands up, and Alan just cuts through his hands and his head. And he just falls down dead. And
oh shit, Alan! I was going to try and interrogate him, but never mind.
Yeah, Alan just sort of turns his head to you. He says, Sorry, boss. I just lost it there a
No,
little
I
bit.
understand. I get
And
it.
Bari, Naomi, and the guards sort of catch up behind you guys. Elmo kind of looks to Bari with a grin, just says, "Oh well, nice of you to join us." And Bari just goes like, "Whatever." We got him, boss.
Yeah, I think we got them. We better bring these acolytes back to Jeru.
Yeah, and you guys go over. The acolytes just like, "Please just get us off this thing." And you go over and you pick them up. You cut off the ropes. It looks like some of the guards sort of pick them up by the arms, sort of drag them back. Naomi tends them with her healing, and Elmo says, "Boss, should we go check out what happened with that fire, or what do you want to do?"
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We could do. I think that was a distraction personally, but I was suppose we better make sure.
Yeah, so you guys head north to the Grove. It looks like Jeru has just sort of rounded up some of the bodies of both the acolytes and the attackers in different groups, and is going around tending to the wounds of the still living acolytes. A lot of them are scared. You see a lot of peasants have come down. Lots of people are just basically in the area now, sort of just tending to all the wounded. And Jeru sees you and he says, "Did you see where they came from?"
No, we didn't. We've just come out of the Beckman bench and saw some chaos to the north. So of course we came south and spotted you had some trouble here.
They came out of nowhere. There was so many of them. Thank you so much for coming here in time. I don't know what would have happened without you guys.
Oh, have you seen those black things before?
No, I
No,
have
neither have
no
I.
idea what those creatures were.
Anyway, we'll be back shortly. We're just going to head on up north. There's a fire or something up there. Not sure if it's a distraction or I don't know. Maybe there were two groups.
Yeah, and so he says, yeah, he just nods to you and goes back to tending to the wounded. Um, I'm going to say that as you guys sort of go north a little bit, Wanalon is in his full gear, and he runs down with a sword and everything else, and he says, "Oh, there you guys are. Can I help?"
Well, hopefully we're going to head north and we might have a bit more action up there.
Okay. Naomi says to you, "I just need to get my gear first, boss, and I'll be ready to go."
Yeah, no
And she
problem.
goes off.
Well, you can catch up.
Yeah, and Alan goes and grabs the horses. And do you want to give me a notice check, Martin?
Yeah. Something is afoot, is it? Ooh, 10.
Nice. And you noticed from the east, you're noticing more smoke from the other side of the other road, like towards the moat house. And this one looks like a much bigger fire, like a much bigger column of smoke coming from that way.
Alan, go and tell Naomi not to go north. We're gonna head over east. I don't want to go up there on our own.
Yeah, he nods and just sort of gallops after to wherever she went. And the others just get their stuff together. Elmo goes and grabs all his gear. Everybody grabs their gear and gets their horses together and ready. And everybody's basically outside the beckoning bench, good to go. It's to give the roll call here. It's you, Elmo, Bari, Alan, Naomi, and Wanalon. And Wanalon,
Yep.
He's now going to show in your hireling list. There you go.
Perfect.
But yeah. So, that is the group. So you guys are heading east.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. So you head east, and you travel for about 10 minutes. We'll go back to the region map here.
Yep.
And you head east, and there's that fork, in the road, and usually you guys take the bottom one past the moat house. But the smoke looks like it's coming from the north fork, probably about, like I said, about 10 minutes away or so. And do you want? I'm assuming you're going that way.
Yeah. If there's a bit of tree cover, there seems to be. I know the map's not like tree accurate or anything, but
No,
if there's a bit of
that's
tree,
all.
yeah. If there's a bit of tree cover, we'll probably just sort of burn it up that road as quick as possible. But when we get to what looks like nearby, we'll probably try and sort of divert off into the trees and be a little bit stealthy. Obviously, we want to get there quickly, but
sounds good. Do you want to just give me a sneak check without your cloak? This is sort of more of a group sneak check as you guys head up.
We're not being particularly sneaky. We're just being careful sneaky. Yep. That's a 9.
Nice. Yeah. So you first go just full gallop up the road. And then you start to, as you get closer, start to go on the side there and slow down just a little bit, enough where you won't be immediately noticed. And
Yeah.
you're getting closer, and the smoke now, you really can't smell the smoke. Like it's all like through the air. You probably smell what's maybe the smells of what's maybe like spices and meat. And you hear screams coming from the north. And as you take like just a little bit of a bend, you see what looks like a whole caravan is on fire. You see guards fighting back what looks like more of these humanoid creatures. Like none of these seem to have any kind of like uniform look to them. There's no like, not everybody has hoods. Some have hoods, some have
Yeah.
armor on. Everybody's just in different stuff. The part that's probably the most horrifying to you, or at least most alarming, is that also attacking this group is what looks like some sort of hill giant. It has a massive club, and as you guys turn into the corner, you see it swing and just crush two of the guards. It looks like the merchants and their families, and whoever else, is being dragged off and thrown onto more of these wolf horse creatures. It looks like about 4 or 5 of them are taken, and that creature just goes off to the north, out of or like into the distance. And the rest of the guards, maybe about 3 or 4 of them are left out of probably like originally maybe 10, are just trying to sort of hold their own. What do you want to do, Martin?
I think we're going to go for the hill giant.
Yeah.
Go big or go home.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Just give me initiative here. They don't see you
Yeah.
just yet. I would say you can probably get one. Oh, okay. They're going first once this goes off. Interesting. I would say you can probably get at least some ranged sneak attacks.
Yeah.
Not like execution attacks or anything, but sneak attacks,
Yeah.
and then it'll be the combat as you guys gallop in. So do you want to give me? I'm assuming you're going to be going for a bow attack against the
Oh,
hill
yes.
giant.
Yep.
All right.
Very much so.
And Bari, Elmo, Alan just has his sword out. He's getting ready just to charge with that. Naomi does not have any ranged weapons. Though she does. Oh no, she already used one spell today. Let's see here. Nice. Okay, had a good damage, or good little bit.
Another +1 on that one, so that should be
so
4.
there's 4. Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Go back and try and
Elmo's
find the other 2 arrows.
Yeah. We'll say you got that one back because the night gaunt just kind of like turned into whatever. So I'd say you get that one back, the magical one. And Bari will fire off his bow.
Nice.
His crossbow.
We need some big numbers. Oh no.
Okay. They both hit. Overall, your damage was okay. He does go like, as these arrows go straight into him, into his chest, and he turns towards you guys, as well as some of the guards do. But yeah, it seems like he's still alive, and sorry, just had to grab the monster book.
That's cool.
All right, nice. This is interesting. There we go. All right, so they are going first, and for their turn, let's see here, where are they? There they are. Oh, actually, Bari's attack missed, but your two attacks did hit. Okay. It looks like for their turn, all the enemies, I'm going to say, I believe it's about a hill giant, and I'm going to say 6 of the regular humanoid enemies. For their turn, I'm not going to do any rolls, but they wipe out the rest of the 4 guards who have held out.
Okay.
And I would say there's probably maybe only like 3 merchants left who are just cowering in the middle between like the blazing wagons.
Yeah.
And so that's their turn, and then the hill giant for his turn is also going to move down towards you guys and just start running as fast as it can, which is not very fast. It more lumbers towards you than really running. Okay. I would say that it closes enough of a gap that it's not in melee range, or sorry, it's not in melee range with you guys, but on your turn, you guys can get into melee range with it or fire your range weapons at it.
So I think Griff is going to go for another arrow attack.
Okay.
And I think he's going to say, "Hey, Alan, You hang back a bit. This thing's not on us yet. Barrier, Elmo, shoot your bows.
Okay. Sorry, what did you say you wanted Alan to do?
Just hang back.
Hang back? Okay, yeah. So Alan just sticks with the group. One also does not have a ranged weapon, so he sort of stays near the back.
Yeah.
So I'd say probably Alan, Naomi, and One Alon are kind of a little bit together. Alan probably bring up the middle more than anything. And Elmo and Bari fire off their attacks.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh, there you go. That's a nice hit. Ooh, real nice hit.
Bari's hit something for once.
Real nice hit.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. So this thing's taking some good damage already. Perfect. So you guys hit a little bit. Elmo doesn't. You do. Nice. That's good. Some good stuff. All right. So that's your turn, I think, for the most part. Yeah. And then for their turn, the hill giant. Who's in the front? Are you in the front?
Yeah.
Or who would you say? Yeah. Okay.
Probably Elmo and Griff. Bari
Elmo
probably slightly behind, and then you've got Alan, Wanalon, and
sounds
Naomi.
good to me.
Yeah. Just
all right. You see, for their turn, the creatures that are at the wagon, they see you guys, and instead of taking these people, they just slit their throats and then just start running north, while the hill giant keeps advancing on you guys. So they just start to run off into the woods in the distance, and you just see like the merchants who are there just kind of bleed out and start to die, and then the hill giant's going to go against you guys.
Naomi, see if you can sort those merchants out, if it's not too late.
I'll do my best, boss, once we can get to them.
Yeah.
And then he's going to attack you. Ooh. But he's going to miss on that, but I'm gonna say for the shock damage, it's probably gonna be like 4, but you have a shield, right?
Yes.
So you can just ignore it anyway for this turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you just hold your shield up, and you feel just like the force go from your arm into your body as this massive club just smashes into your entire body. You're able to hold off against this creature, but you can feel the absolute strength in this giant.
Is that it? Is that all you got?
And he just goes, and then he does a swing onto Alan. Or sorry, Elmo, not Alan.
Elmo, yeah.
But nope, same thing. And Elmo, I think actually is immune to shock damage, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if it matters for him to. Oh no, he does. I'm just gonna give him a little bit of damage, a little bit of damage from that, because he does not have a thing out. All right, it's back to you guys.
So Elmo says, "You're not very good at this. I want you to meet my friend. His name is Harry the Andax." And then just...
I love it. Ooh, nice. Yeah, that actually just hits. Cool. Nice, another little bit of damage. Elmo drops his bow and swings with his big war axe. He's going to miss on the hit, but he is going to get 7 shock damage. So there's that.
That's insane.
Oh yeah, and you know what? He could. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Even if he hits, he's only doing 2 more damage, so he's not going to make that a hit. He's probably going to wait for a better one. And I'm going to say Alan decides to sort of go against your orders, and he moves forward and tries to stab this thing. And though he does, he's gonna make that a hit though. He comes in and slices it. It's still alive. And then Bari just kind of aims down his crossbow, and you see him just sort of like trying to go for the head. Ooh, that's a hit. And that's a dead hill giant. As all 4 of you together kind of just slice into this over and over again, and it's just like losing control as it's trying to get all of you, but is basically swarmed completely by the 4 of you.
Remember, don't kill it. We've got to interrogate. Oh, not again.
Ah! It just sort of falls over and dies. Naomi bolts past you guys on her horse, and jumps off next to the merchants. You see her sort of her the tips of her fingers turn blue, but she looks back towards you and just sort of sullenly shakes her head. It looks like they're already gone.
Never mind. You did the best you could. These things happen. These things happen. And so the little humanoids, have they disappeared completely now?
Yeah, in the time that you guys have been still fighting, they've disappeared into the land.
And they didn't have anyone with them, did they? They were just they just left.
Yeah. They just left. The people who were taken were left right before that, like in the first little moment, and then they left afterwards once they saw you guys, and then the hill giant kind of just held you guys back. Probably not on purpose. The hill giant did not seem smart enough to do that. It seems like it just sort of more worked out that way.
Yeah. So there's no point in really chasing after them.
No, I mean you guys can try and get to the temple if you want, but that's mostly going to be a whole other thing, right? Because they still have to. Whatever, who knows what else you'll meet. So it's up to you if you want to do that, if you want to see what else is up there. But if you want to head back to the town and see if the town's okay, it's up to you as well.
I think we should do that. We'll have a quick look on the giant and just see if we can see any kind of telltale signs, like a little, I don't know, maybe an amulet or.
I would say probably where Bari pulls the bolt out of his head. You see it has that same sort of yellow like triangle stamped onto its forehead that you saw on some of the undead, as well as like on some of like the uniforms in the Earth Temple.
The bloody Earth guys again. And Griff will take out the Earth cloak that he managed to get last time and just have a look and match the symbols.
Yeah, it looks like you see that there is the same sort of symbol on your cloak.
Oh, this will never do. This will never do. He's not too proud, so Griff's gonna have a quick look in the merchant caravans just to make sure. I mean, it would be a shame to leave any valuables out in the road where all and sundry could get them, wouldn't it? So, you know.
I'm gonna say Naomi kind of gives you a bit of a look, but doesn't stop you from going through the merchant stuff. It's still burning, so it seems like a lot of the stuff that's there is still like on fire. Over the stuff that isn't, you kind of check out.
Yeah.
It looks like if they had any lockboxes or anything like that, it was probably taken with them. Yeah. But you do see a few bags of spices and a few other things that might be worth something to somebody. Maybe the innkeeper or maybe somebody on the merchant.
Well, look, we'd better try and put these fires out. And look, let's see if we can. Let's take these goods off. And they might be useful for somebody.
Yeah,
he's not very convincing.
Yeah, no, you do that. The others help you take that stuff off because I mean, most of them believe like there's no point letting stuff waste. Yeah. Wanalon's probably almost too eager to help you unload these caravans. You notice him sort of pocketing some of the spice bags into his little like sack on his back, but the rest seems to be all accounted for and attached to the saddlebags. It seems like the wagons are pretty much lost. The fires have taken them over completely. All the timber is already burning. And it's probably best to leave these until till the fires go out.
Oh. Well, that's not what I expected to happen, but I suppose Turgeon gets another day of rest. Right, let's head back to the village and God, hopefully it's still there.
Yeah. Yeah, you head back to the village. And it looks like a lot of the guards are out on your side, like on that side of the exit, the two exits out of there. And you guys ride past them, and you see more guards have come back from the other fire. And you just hear them saying that it seems like it was just a decoy, the one in the north. But as you know, with at least the one that you were at, it was an actual merchant caravan that got hit. And you start seeing them sort of racking up the amount of dead. It seems like between all the different groups of missing and dead, people seem to be going around trying to get names and accounting for who is not here and who's there. And it seems like, at least so far, it seems like between the caravans and the people, maybe about 10 or 15 people are missing, but still very unclear right now. Because some people are mentioning that it seems like people have been taken from their homes as well, amidst all the chaos. And so there's still lots of almost panic and hysteria going out throughout the crowds as everybody's sort of talking and asking. And some people say, we have to go to the temple. And others are like, it's way too dangerous. We can't do that. And some of them are saying, we should get the help from Sunny Fields. Perhaps they'll help us. And people are just arguing back and forth between who should do what. And then Rufus comes out in front of the crowd and just basically tells everybody to, like, everybody shut up. We're going to figure out what's going on with this. We're going to be hiring some of the mercenaries who keep coming through town to help us with this. We're going to find out who's missing. Do not panic. Everything will be fine. We will double guard duty. Just go back to your homes. Make sure everything's fine where you are at, and we'll let you know what's going to happen next. And people sort of quiet down at this. The guards kind of start shoving people back to their homes, that sort of thing. And Rufus goes to you, and he says, we're going to need to do a council meeting. We're going to summon a council tonight. I want you to be there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think that'll be a good idea. I might, I'm sure you know your business better than I do, but I would stage guards around the village, like right on the perimeter, because they snuck in into the grove there with Jeru. So yeah, I think you should maybe in pairs, maybe threes if you've got enough men. And you want some little fires as well. So if there's anything kicks off, you can make the thing burn, and everyone, all the other guards can come and raise some assistance, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you hear from behind you, hear, yes, he's right. We need to do more. I will put down some little alarms down near the grove, and you see that Burns behind you now. First time you see him outside of his tower. And he says, we'll talk more at the council about what we need to do next, but I'll make sure to do that. And Rufus, you should listen to him. And you see Burn walks off towards the south. You see him just doing little small spells here and there. And you see little lights, almost like little firebugs or little fireflies kind of like coming out of his hands, going sort of flying lazily around the town. You see him sort of almost going out a little bit, like little sentries. And Rufus gives you a nod and walks off. And you see what looks like the town elder. He looks like an older man. He seems to be sort of like salt and pepper hair, perhaps maybe like in his 60s or 70s. He seems to be totally followed by like 4 different guards. And you see basically just a bunch of commotion as people are cleaning stuff up. And it seems like before he departs, I will say that Rufus says the town meeting will be in 2 hours. And he also points to some other adventurers that you see nearby and tells them that they're going to be there as well. And you can tell by the way he's talking, he's not asking people. He's telling them that they're going to be there, kind of thing. And that's where we're going to end off the session, Martin.
Ooh. Well, that was excellent. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, I was looking forward to today's session just because of how things are starting to ramp up a little bit here in town.
That was really cool.
Good job too. You guys did a good job. That hill giant too was this 2d8 on an attack, so I was like, oh my god, it's a good thing you guys are able to sort of hold off the attacks there a bit, because
yeah. How many hit points has Elmo got again? I forget.
Elmo is at 17 out of 24.
Okay, so both Elmo and Griff could take a hit at max damage, but nobody else, I don't think.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, especially not somebody like Naomi who's down to 6 hit points. Everybody else is okay. One-on-one's level 3, so he's okay. He's at 19.
Oh wow, okay, cool.
Yeah, he's an experienced adventurer. But yeah, thank you so much.
Trust him. There's something sketchy about one-on-one.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You can't trust gnomes.
No.
But
no way.
No way. God damn it. Somebody had to do it. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this pretty crazy episode. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. As things are starting to heat up a little bit around here. But thank you so much, Martin. That was an absolute blast. It was nice to play again. And we'll see you guys next week.
Cheers, guys.